Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 8th day, I believe, of the season of practice with the Buddhist Studies Institute. My name is Namkai, and I will be your host today. During this season of practice, daily meditation will be live streamed daily to our YouTube channel and Facebook page. You're welcome to join us any day or every day. We're happy you're joining us today. Satya will be leading us in daily meditation today. She is a Buddhist Studies meditation certified instructor. She has been certified for a very long time. After the meditation, I will read one of the 5 Buddhist precepts. And then after that, for those who are with us on Zoom, we'll have our normal discussion time where we'll be able to meet and greet and have fun. But for now, welcome to everybody on Facebook. Welcome to everybody on YouTube. I'm going to put a link in the chat so that everybody can follow along with the daily prayers and follow all the meditation instructions today. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome Satya to the screen to teach daily meditation.
Hi, Namkai. Thanks so much for that introduction. I am really pleased to be here today with you all. My name is Satya. I am one of the directors of the Buddhist Studies Institute and grateful to be here and being able to offer this program for over 100 days, the whole season of practice. And so what we're doing here is we're taking a challenge, meditate every single day between November 1st and Losar, the Tibetan Lunar New Year, which next year falls, I believe, on February 21st. And so this is a way to renew our dedication to our own minds. And so we have this opportunity to do it together here every day. Some of our participants aren't able to make it at this time, and so then they join us later with the guided meditation. So there's people all over the world who are meditating together through this season of practice, which is so, so beautiful. So let's go ahead and start today by raising our bodhicitta, or our enlightened intent, or our generosity of spirit. And we'll do so in a different way than the traditional Tibetan Buddhist way. Instead, we'll start by imagining a time, remembering a time in our lives when we needed help. We desperately, desperately needed help and relief, comfort, a friend, or even a stranger. But someone came to our aid. Maybe they were kind to us, said a kind word, gave a hug when it was needed, but just were the ones who came for offering support when we needed it most. So let's just take a moment and remember a time like that. Sure, we all have that, maybe from our childhood or times of grief in our life. And then just remember the feeling of what it was to be helped when we needed it most. The sweet feeling of relief, just the vulnerable feeling of relief. And with that feeling in our hearts, we can now enact a wish that all beings, our friends and family, our loved ones, strangers, people we don't know, and even those who've done us harm, that they too would feel that kind of relief in their life and in their minds when they needed it most. And so we'll take a moment extending that wish out for all beings to be relieved in that way. Very nice. So that is the opening to our meditation practice today. And let's begin by finding our good seat, our posture. So we want to be sitting in a comfortable position. If sitting is comfortable, we can also stand if sitting isn't right. And for those of us who might have even challenges standing, we can also lay down in the Shavasana or corpse pose and just listen. We want the belly to be relaxed. You can draw the navel in towards the spine, just gently. We'd like those hips to be stationed higher than the knees. So if we're sitting on the ground, we'd like to have a cushion under the hips to raise those hips up just a little bit. If we're in a chair, let's scoot all the way back and be nice and supported with feet flat on the floor. And let those bones in the spine stack like coins stacking up. And we widen out through the chest and collarbones, relaxing those arms down at our sides. We can have our hands in our lap, whatever's comfortable, face down, face up, or in the gesture of equanimity, one hand on top of the other, resting in the lap. We can draw that chin in just slightly, making the back of the neck nice and long and tall. And lips slightly parted. Tongue can rest just behind the teeth at the roof of the mouth. And our eyes, so this is important, our eyes are open. But gazing down. So we'll pick a point on the floor, a couple feet ahead of us. Just rest the gaze there. And today we'll start our meditation with a somatic practice called the body scan. So we can just become attuned with our breath and rest into our upright posture. And we'll start by moving our awareness down into our tippy toes. Just noticing the feeling of our toes, the skin on our toes, the blood and the bones inside of our toes, the temperature, and even the energy around our toes. We can just really get there with our toes. And then we're going to let that awareness spread so that we keep the awareness there of our toes, but then that awareness moves into the balls of our feet and under the bottoms of our feet, onto the tops and into the heels, spreading over the ankles and starting to move that awareness up into our calves and shins and knees. But without losing awareness of the bottoms of our feet and our toes. Just noticing the feeling there. And we can let that awareness drift upwards over our thighs, fronts of the thighs, backs of the thighs, down into the depths of the bone and bone marrow, and out on the surface of the skin and beyond the surface of the skin. Feeling the sensation of our legs. And without losing that awareness, we'll move our awareness up into our hips and the back of our hips, the front of our hips, into our belly and internal organs. Feeling our diaphragm and rib cage and the center of the chest. And letting that awareness spread out over the chest into our arms, into the forearms, elbows, wrists, all the way down to the fingertips. Seeing if we can notice the sensation both inside and outside. Now we'll move that awareness up into our neck, over our face, into our brain and skull, out to the tips of our hair. Noticing in the body scan what's happening there. And today we're going to practice one that we rarely do together in the daily meditation or online. This is called the forced Zhine, or forced calm. And what we need to accomplish this practice is an object to focus our gaze on. And so traditionally in Tibetan Buddhist tradition and in our lineage, we use the Tibetan syllable ah, which actually one of our participants has in her background today. The painting right there, beautiful with the tigle around it. So for those of you who would like, you can focus on that painting there in her background. But sometimes we don't want to look at the screen for a long period of time. And so you can use anything. There might be a point on the floor. You might have a little bell or pine cone, or if you're in front of the computer, you might like to choose one of the keys on the keyboard. But what we're going to do is we're just going to rest our eyes on our chosen object. And we'll keep them there. We're going to keep our gaze and our awareness firmly on the object. We may find that our gaze wanders or our mind wanders. But in this practice, as soon as we are aware of that moment, we are bringing ourselves, and often in the calm abiding, we're moving in such a gentle way, but this is actually more rigorous. We are forcing our attention onto the object with a type of gusto. In this practice, we keep about 80% of our attention really, really completely focused there. Of course, our other sense fields are still open. So sounds, we're aware of them. Our peripheral vision, we're aware of it, and our feelings as well. But our intention is to keep that gaze on the object. Periodically and spontaneously, we can close our eyes and see there the object internally, focusing on that image that still remains there, even with the eyes closed. until the image is completely dissipated. And at that time, we'll open our eyes again, focusing our eyes onto the object. We'll continue in this way. So we're once again keeping our eyes fixed to the object of our choice. We can look at the Tibetan Ah in the background in the painting on Shadecel's screen. We can look at something down on our own floor, resting and fixing our gaze there intently. If we find ourselves distracted, we fix our gaze again. And then periodically we close our eyes. And again, fix our gaze on the object as we see it internally until it dissipates. And then we'll open our eyes again. If we find that our mind has become distracted or our gaze has shifted from the object, we swiftly return our gaze and fix it upon the object. We're actually staring at the object, and periodically we can close our eyes then. And we may see the object there again appearing. And we'll fix our attention on it there internally until we no longer see it. Once the image has dissolved, we can then again open our eyes, fixing our gaze back on our chosen object. So together we can close our eyes, visualizing or seeing really the object there, seeing the image internally, fixing our gaze upon it. Until it's completely dissolved. And when we no longer see the image of that object, we can open our eyes again, but no longer focus on our object. Instead, we'll rest for a few breaths in a formless meditation, allowing our awareness to be as it is. And as we take time to transition out of our meditation practice, we can once more engage in the body scan. So taking note again of the tips of the toes and allowing our awareness to run again up over our feet and ankles, into our bones and blood and marrow, out to the surface of the skin and beyond, moving our awareness up into the legs and thighs, into the hips and abdomen, into our internal organs, out through our chest and arms and fingertips. Feeling and noticing our neck and head, and all the way out to the very tips of all the hairs on all of our body. Feeling really present and grounded in our physical body. We will bring our meditation to a close. So we'll take these last moments to offer the merit or benefit as a dedication. So we can bring our palms together at the center of the chest, and we'll make the wish that may all beings be happy and free. We bow. So thank you so much for joining me in some of the forced calm meditation and body scan for today. We are practicing focusing in a very particular way, and grateful to do that together with you. I'll pass it back to Namkai, our host.
Thank you so much, Satya, for those lovely practices. Very special. Satya is one of the meditation instructor training instructors. She actually teaches all the other instructors, and I think you could tell by how wonderfully all those practices were performed. And now, in our effort to integrate ethics with our practice, I will now read one of the 5 basic Buddhist precepts. Today, I will read precept number 4, avoiding false speech. The Tibetan is abandon false speech. Rinpoche has this to say about that. I avoid taking refuge in the lie of dualism, ever advancing towards less manipulative, self-protective, deceptive speech. I refrain from using my speech for rationalizing neurotic views and behavior. I refrain from all bigoted, sectarian, racist, sexist, judgmental, and arrogant speech that condemns others. I avoid harsh speech, gossip, and useless chatter. I develop increasing capacity for deep listening and authentic communication. I train my speech and emotions in order to use speech with nonviolence, empathy, sensitivity, and kindness. I use kind speech to set appropriate boundaries and respect others' boundaries in calmness and clarity. I respect confidentiality and respect the disclosures of others. I refrain from offering unsolicited advice. I recognize that silence or withholding can be a misuse of speech. I speak up to prevent others from being harmed by racism, sexism, abuse, and other forms of domination. That's the end of the precept. Thank you again, Satya, for leading us in meditation today. Thank you, everybody who is here in person on Zoom, for practicing with us today. And thank you to our friends on Facebook and YouTube. If you'd like further information about our organization, please visit the Buddhist Studies Institute.org to learn more about upcoming programs and oncoming programs, and about our teacher, Pema Chondro. And please visit dakinimountain.org to learn about our retreat center in Northern California, and perhaps consider making a donation. This meditation happens daily online with certified meditation instructors of the Buddhist Studies Institute. You're welcome to attend any day and every day. I will now end the live stream and continue on with our discussion with our members on Zoom.